Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Current Chapter. My name is Dani and today is my favorite time of the month where we get M&Ms to pick my TBR. So let's talk about books. In August we're going to have the second part of the Magical Readathon, which is the Newts, and it's hosted by Book Rose. I'm going to leave all the links in the description, so check that out. I'm also going to leave in the description a link for the first M&M's Pick My TBR, so you can look at that if you are confused about what I'm doing here, but I'm going to try to explain a little bit. I have this chart where each color is going to be a genre, and I pick 10 M&Ms and fill the squares as I go to decide 4 books that I'm going to read in August. Because of the Newts, I'm going to have to read more than 4 books, but let's start with the M&Ms and see what I can fit in the Newts, so I don't have to read way too many books that I don't have time for. So first of all the genres are here in this red mug. I'm going to pick them, and in the order, each of them are going to be a color. The red M&M is going to be classics. So classics means I read a classic book in whatever genre I want. The orange M&M is going to be fantasy. Yellow is sci-fi. I hope we get some sci-fi this month. Green is mystery thriller. Blue is going to be other. So if other comes up, you have to vote and decide what genre I'm going to read. And last one, brown is horror. Before we start, let's just see how I did with the M&Ms from last month. So last month I had to read one adult fantasy, and I read Dragon Slayer for that, which is a really good book. I also had to read an adult contemporary because the other category came up and you guys voted for contemporary. So I read Someday, Someday Maybe by Lauren Graham, and didn't love it so much, but it's a genre out of my comfort zone. It's something that I usually don't like anyway, so it was not one of my favorite books. I also had to read YA horror, and I am still reading that. I'm reading a book called Marina by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. He's the author from Shadow of the Wind, his most famous book, at least here in BookTube. And I'm reading Marina. I have to finish by today because I have to give it back. I have the ebook in the library and it's due tomorrow, so I have to finish it today. I'm enjoying it. I hope I can finish it and see how I think about it. Otherwise, it's going to take me a while to get it back because someone put a hold on it already. And lastly, I had to read a middle grade classic. I also struggled a little bit trying to find and I wanted an audiobook for that, and nothing was available. Everything was going to take too long. So I read The Cat in the Hat by Dr. Seuss. I had never read that before. I consider it a classic. I think a lot of people will agree with me on that, and so that's what I read. Let's see what I'm going to read in August. First M&M is orange, which is a fantasy. Excited already. Another orange, YA fantasy. Another orange, an adult fantasy. So there's one book already. Let's see what else we have here. Another orange. Oh my god. Okay, so that means an adult fantasy and so far a middle grade fantasy. I swear there's not only oranges here. At least I don't think so. No. Blue. Blue means other. That means you're going to have to choose. There's going to be a poll up here on the cards. So vote on that. You can also vote on Twitter or on Instagram about what genre I'm going to have to read. Yellow. It's a sci-fi. I wanted a sci-fi. 5, 6. I need 4 more M&Ms. Another yellow. YA sci-fi. I'm really hoping there's another yellow because I have an adult sci-fi already that I want to read. So let's see. Yeah, yellow. Okay, so did I pick more M&Ms than I should? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, we're good. So there's an adult sci-fi, an adult fantasy, a middle grade fantasy, and a middle grade other. So that means They're already 4 books picked. If I pick another color, I'm just going to eat the M&M because I'm only going to pick up to 4 books in here. So there are 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have to pick 2 more, and they can only be orange or blue. Yellow, so yeah, I'm not going to add another book. I eat the M&M. Red, also not going to add another one. So there we go. Let me finish the M&Ms. So this was very unexpected, I guess. I didn't think I was going to get as many oranges as I did, and I'm so glad that's fantasy because it's my favorite genre. So I'm going to read an adult fantasy, a middle grade fantasy. I already know which one it is. An adult sci-fi and an other genre middle grade that you're going to have to pick. So I'm going to leave a poll here with the different genres that you can pick. Also vote on Twitter and on Instagram. And let's see what we can fit for these books in the nudes. Well, no doubt at all that the middle grade fantasy that I'm going to read, I'm going to pick that up. It's going to be Wondersmith by Jessica Townsend. This is the second book in the Trials of Morgan Crow, the Nevermore series. Trials of Morgan Crow is the first one, Nevermore. And this is Wondersmith, The Calling of Morgan Crow. This is definitely what I'm going to read for a middle grade fantasy. In adult fantasy, I have so many books to choose from. I'm going to have to go back to that because I really don't know what I want to read. I bought some really awesome books just a couple of weeks ago, and I really am excited about them, and most of them are adult fantasies, so I don't know what I'm going to pick. For an adult sci-fi, I'm going to pick that one up. For an adult sci-fi, I'm going to read Waking Gods by Sylvain Novelle. There's the second in the Themis Files. I read the first one as an audiobook in the beginning of the year. First one is Sleeping Giants. And now I get to read Waking Gods. And I'm really excited. It's all told in like files. It's not as different format as Illuminate, let's say, but it's not just like normal prose. But yeah, I'm really excited to read Waking Gods. And I don't think either of them fit with the nudes. I created a spreadsheet where you can just select your career in the nudes and you can see what you have to read for each of them with all the prompts. And as a magizoologist, I have to read 7 books. For Care of Magical Creatures, I have to read 3 books. The first one has to be a book that starts with A. It counts the article. So I have like 1,000 Splendid Suns. I could read that. I have 1,000 Pieces of You. There's a lot of 1,000 happening here. I have A Great and Terrible Beauty. All those books are longer than I would want for a readathon, especially because I already picked 2 books that are not super short. So I'm going to have to think a little bit more on that. I'm going to watch some other recommendation videos to see if I can find something that's maybe shorter, or I'll just pick an audiobook for that. That'll help me read faster because I can read on the bus. I can't read physical books on the bus because it'll make me super sick, so it has to be audiobooks. And then the second book that I have to read is a book that has less than 300 pages, and I picked one for that. I'm going to read The Marrow Thieves by Cherie Dumalin. I've been meaning to read this book for a long time since I went to Montreal YA Fest. I bought this there. It's signed by the author, and I'm really excited to see what it's all about. So, really excited to read this book. And then I have to read a book with a bird on the cover. I have Magpie Murders and I have Crooked Kingdom. Both fit this category. Again, they're also very big books that I don't know if I can fit in August, but these are 2 of the options that I have. For charms, the first book I have to read is a book with a gorgeous cover. So for that, I also went with kind of shorter books. And the one I picked is Before We Met by Lucy Whitehouse. I think this cover is absolutely gorgeous. The rating on it on Goodreads is not super high, but I'm curious to read it. I want to see what I think about it. And it's not super long, and it's a thriller, so I can read it faster. The second book I have to read for Charms is a comic book or manga or book under 150 pages. And I think for that I'm going to read V for Vendetta because it's part of the current chapter challenge #1. I will leave the link up in the cards if you want to check it. I have to read that because it's a book, I want to read that because it's a book that was published in 1990. It was a popular book in the year from that year, so I want to read that, and I can get it for free on Hoopla. I just found out about Hoopla today, so if you don't know, it's an app that you can get books from your library for free. I had Libby already, but I didn't have that option on Libby, I guess, and now for comics, and I see that I can get them on Hoopla, so that's exciting. Then for herbology, I have first to read an audiobook. That's going to be easy. I will just pick an audiobook that that I want to read for that. Or a book with a green cover, which I don't have. I didn't even look too much into it because I'm going to read an audiobook anyway at some point, so that will count for the first book in herbology. Second book in herbology is a book between 350 and 390 pages. That's very specific, and I did have a lot of books that fit that category. The one I have that I separated here is The Nowhere Child, which is another thriller. It has 371 pages, so it fits the category, and I could read this. This is a lot of books already to read, so I don't know how that's going to happen. I still have to read another middle grade because of the M&Ms, and I have to pick an adult fantasy, so I'll try to pick one that fits one of the other categories. This is more complicated than I thought it would be to fit the M&Ms with the nudes. But as soon as I have my TBR more or less sorted in my head, also I don't necessarily will stick to a TBR if I have, I will read those genres and those prompts for the nudes, but I can change which book will fit any of them during the month. August is a very long month, so I don't know, I could change my mind. But yeah, I will, like I said, as soon as I have ideas, I will post them on Instagram, on Twitter. Follow me on those platforms if you are not following me there already. And if you have any recommendations, let me know. Remember, please remember to vote on the poll for which books that I'm going to read for the other category, which middle grade genre I'm going to read. And I'm really excited to see what you guys pick. I hope it's something that I can find somewhat easily as an audiobook or ebook in the library. I don't have any more middle grade here, I don't think. The only one I had was Wondersmith. So yeah, I'm going to have to get this book in another way, but that's no problem. I'll do that. If you have any specific middle grade recommendations after the voting is done, I will leave the voting up for a week, maybe? Until the beginning of August, you can vote here and on Twitter. On Instagram, it will be for 24 hours on the stories, but yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you can help me pick awesome books to read in August. I'm really excited about this month. Just the ones that I have picked here already, I'm very excited about, and I can't wait for August now. I just want you to start reading them. Remember to like this video, to subscribe to my channel if you have not already, if you enjoy my content, and remember to like also, and thank you so much for joining me. Bye!